It's too beautiful an afternoon to waste too much time on this, so I'm not going to. But apparently Chrisotpher Upton has said once again that the court case was concerning the treatment of dogs, i.e. picking them up by the ears, hitting them across the back, kicking them, electric collars, jet spray. No matter how you wanted to treat your dog, you was allowed to, as long as it didn't cry out loud.
Be clipped of Chrisotpher Upton's training methods.
I don't know the man, I haven't seen him training his dogs. There were certainly parts of those videos that would concern me. In one instance, there's a young spaniel that he wants to sit and stay, and he moves away from it, and actually a lot of dogs, their natural inclination is to follow the owner. And to me, he was very heavy-handed. His reaction was intense. The way he picked the dog up and was really cross with it and took it back. It could be that he'd done it 100 times before nicely, and that was just the 101st time, but I don't know, I suspect not. He then did the right thing when the dog was sitting there. He went back to it and praised it, but by that stage the dog was clearly fairly unhappy about what had happened. Her head was on the ground. I'm not sure she was really aware that she had done something right. In a second clip you showed me, he was chastising a dog by, he appeared to be holding its mouth open and pressing its lips against its canine teeth, with all his other dogs milling around, and I thought that was appalling. I mean, unforgivable. I can see no reason to berate a dog like that at all. The dog that he was punishing, and I am going to say punishing rather than correcting, because that's what it seemed to me that it was distressed. Its body language would have given that off. The scent it would have been making would have given that off, because it would have been having huge adrenaline spikes. And it was making a noise, which we could hear on the video, and that noise was clearly giving out a signal saying something bad is happening here. It's wrong, it's not understanding how dogs work.
You better not move. I'm going to make him move now. I'm going to keep going back. When he crawls forward like that, pick him up. Back the backside. Just to tell him that's not acceptable. Look, and it wasn't hard enough. Why? Because he came forward again. So take it back to the spot. Face it down. Reinforce the stop. Drops it. Just tell him in dog language. You've got to listen, son. Go. Grab him. Pull him in. Back the backside. Sit up. And that softness. Sit up. Smack the backside. Sit up. Smack the backside and tell him. Tell him it's not acceptable. Now, if someone wants to report me for that, tough. So what I'm doing is I'm putting his teeth in the back of his mouth with my hand in his mouth. I'm not hurting him, but I'm sending him a message to say to him.
Apparently. So he says on numerous videos. Now, I don't want any dog being treated badly because somebody believes that the court case was concerning animal treatment and that Mr. Upton won the court case. The court case had absolutely nothing to do with dog training. It was a case brought against Mr. Upton because of his continual stalking of me for 5 years. His numerous phone calls. His many vile, disgusting videos, along with his wife and his daughter.
That you're the one who's being abused. Well, I'm beginning to enjoy abusing you at the moment. And you're my bunny boiler, but you're not getting treated fairly because the bunny boiler's been absolutely sodomized. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I now have to do things in disguise? What is this world coming to?
if you still believe it's okay to harass a woman for 5 years, and he's harassed others.
I think the answer is very simply, we aren't willing to discuss it. But we have chosen to demonstrate that by trying to sever connection more effectively, because you are very persistent.
Persistent? I'm going to be far more persistent than you can imagine. But at the end of the day...
I'm sure that's the case.
No, that's not...
We're not achieving anything. I think we've said...
So you're another one who's going to put the phone down instead of actually passing me on to somebody senior?
Because I am the most senior person available in the office at the moment.
So you've blocked my phone number on every site of BATC. I can't phone any numbers. Is that right?
Exactly, because when you do try and make contact, you become heated. You are just... Have you
got any proof at all of this, or is this just hearsay?
To it right now.
No. You're not listening to it right now, because what you're listening to right now is a recorded message of you and me. But at the end of the day, if you want to settle out of court, we'll settle out of court. If you want to go to court, you just have to say no. You'll have to take us to court, Mr. Upton, because we're not willing to settle out of court. Why can't you just, if you're senior management, say, I've listened to Mr. Upton, and actually he's talking a lot of sense. We need to get this...
I don't think you are, and I think this conversation, we've said all that we need to say. You are aware that you are not a member...
And... trying to cover his own backside and say that Mr. Upton was aggressive and threatening towards me, when Mr. Upton wasn't aggressive and threatening towards him. Do you find it frustrating talking to someone who's willing to talk?
I find it deeply frustrating talking to someone who is not prepared to listen.
Well, I've listened.
I'm concerned, as with many of my colleagues, I'm going to put down the phone and ask you to stop harassing us. If you don't stop harassing us, we will take this matter further. It is a criminal offence.
Have we spoken before? Yes, we have. I thought we had. Because you were rude to me last time. No, I wasn't. You were threatening me. No, I wasn't threatening. I was telling you what we asked you if you were threatening me, and you said you were. That also insulted me. Oh, here we go.
And so have you seen this video that's going around with a bloke called Chrisotpher Upton?
I have, yes.
Do you think he's harsh with his dogs?
Personally, I think it's unnecessarily harsh. I don't agree with picking dogs up by the ears or the chest.
Did you? Because guess what?
Let me guess, you're Chrisotpher Upton?
You're dead spot on, and guess what?
I thought I recognised the voice.
This is going on the internet.
What I'm saying is the manner in which you're speaking to me is threatening. You're causing me alarm and distress, which goes against Section 1 of the Protection Against Harassment Act. Okay?
You're harassing me.
No, you are harassing me.
No.
You have gone out of your way to make contact to me.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm coming to get you. I warned you. I'm coming to get you.
He was given numerous warnings from the police to leave me alone. I never was. He was given a restraining order to leave me alone. He should have been given should have been charged with a hate crime, but for some reason it was a restraining order given to him when an inspector stepped in and stopped the police charging him with a hate crime. So instead he just got a restraining order. So he continues. The police then charge him with two... Oh, by the way, I've never received a restraining order either. The police then charge him with 2 harassment counts. I've never been charged with harassment accounts either. Do you see the theme here? And we had all of the evidence. The police had all of the evidence. The courts had all of the evidence. It was a done deal. He could have and should have been charged with stalking, but they went for the lesser charge of harassment because it was such a done deal. So they went for that. Unfortunately, and you will see this in the video clips that Mr. Upton has put up over the years, there was a young CPS lawyer. Let's face it, on the scheme of things, this isn't a huge court case, so the young CPS lawyer was given it. And she made a deal with Chrisotpher Upton's lawyer that, and apparently it is something that's normally done. It saves the court's time because a court case doesn't have to be heard, i.e. there was no court case because he accepted a plea bargain before the court case had taken place. The plea bargain was acquittal for a restraining order. Now, the judge said instead of the normal 6 months restraining order, she was going to give Mr. Upton a 2-year restraining order because she felt I needed that protection. And even after the restraining order, he was found just a mile outside, well, 2 miles outside my home. And they couldn't do anything because it was a mile restraining order, 1 mile. So, by the way, I didn't get a restraining order either. He did. Now, again, they make a video before the court case takes place that if they feel that they're going to lose the court case, he at any point had a card to play. The card was that apparently his lawyer had spotted a couple of technicalities.
We could have thrown it out on 2 technicalities, in my opinion, and the solicitor's opinion. But we're keeping that to our chest, because what we want to do, we want to stop this once and for all. And so the only way to stop it once and for all is actually expose a number of people who have lied and misled the police, misled the courts, and they will be questioned under oath in the witness box, and we'll see what comes out of that, won't we? Because unfortunately this isn't going to go away with just getting it thrown out of court on a technicality. And trust me, the solicitor pointed out one today, and I pointed one out to the solicitor, and he said it's not the right moment to use that, but we can use it if we need to be. So,
and he did have one, and that was jurisdiction. I don't suppose they most probably even looked at the addresses and noticed, I don't suppose the judge looked at the address and noticed that we were out of jurisdiction. For whatever reason, the CPS was most probably too young, or I don't know. Who's to know? But for whatever reason, it wasn't picked up that because of the jurisdiction, he's in one jurisdiction, I'm in another, you have to go ahead with the trial. You can't do these deals that they do to save court time and money. And apparently, the witness, to save the witness going through a trial. I was totally willing to go to the trial in that I needed it stopped, and I knew he wasn't going to stop unless it went ahead. So, absolutely nothing to do with dog training. And if you listen to the wording of field trial, the people there who supported him, you can see that they're playing very careful with their words. And when they contacted me and asked me to comment on training methods, I said no, the court case had nothing to do with training methods. I would talk about the court case, but I wouldn't talk about training methods because the court case had absolutely nothing to do with training methods. It had to do with Mr. Upton's stalking harassment of me over the previous 5 years. Now, they wouldn't have that, and so therefore I didn't speak to them. Now, Mr. Upton has served time for breaking a bouncer's jaw. I haven't. Mr. Upton has wanted to be a field trial judge, and when they refused, he harassed them so much they were at the point of phoning police. And he's also been kicked off of all the shoots that he was on because of his manner towards people.
Thrown off an ad hoc estate for doing anything wrong. I was told my services will not be required anymore. The reason why is they feel I'm not happy and I give negative vibes. I believe in telling the truth. Shame no one picked the phone up for me and said, Chris, what's the problem?
Now, again, do you see the theme? All I want to say is, do not abuse an animal believing that the courts will not touch you because it is now being set as law that you can do what you want to an animal as long as it doesn't cry out in pain. You can't. The court was nothing to do with that. It hasn't set a precedent. And if you're a follower of his, don't leave any nasty comments on this because it won't be seen and I'll just delete it. And even if you are a follower of his, you know that he lies. You must know that. He never shows his correction of dog on a public forum anymore because he knows the RSPCA will charge him. Unless, of course, they're even more less funded. But I think they would. That was what they said.
So here we have the Royal Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, to Mr. Upton. I've had to hide my address because of the idiots. So what we've got here, it says, I am the principal prosecution case manager that was assigned to this file, submitted by the Inspector Taylor following his investigation into potential offences identified from 3 videos posted on social media. Having viewed the file of evidence, including comprehensive veterinary statement from the experienced veterinary behaviourist, I am satisfied the evidential test for the Code of Crown Prosecutors has been met in respect of offences under Section 4 of the Animal Welfare Act causing unnecessary suffering to those dogs. However, having considered the matter, I am not satisfied that it is in the public interest to pursue a prosecution and can advise you that on this occasion the Society does not intend taking on any further action against you. I would like to stress the Society does not in any way endorse the training methods employed by you as seen in the videos and would only ever advise using positive reward-based training. The experienced veterinary behaviourist is most critical of the methods adopted by yourself as not being in the dog's best interest and leading those dogs being caused mental and physical suffering. I would therefore request you consider your training methods. There are many experienced and successful behaviourists and dog trainers who I am sure you would be more than happy to assist you in this regard. And it's yours sincerely, Jason Fletcher, Principal Prosecution Case Manager, Prosecutions Department.
So there is that possibility that they would charge him and therefore he doesn't want to risk it. So don't you risk it. If you are out training a dog, you don't need to use physical force to train the dog. The dogs that Mr. Upton's trains are to a poor standard, even with physical correction. Train your dog to a better standard without physical correction. That's not picking it up by the ears, hitting it across the back, using a jet spray, making it so scared that it wags its tail, as we know they do. If somebody's beating a dog, it's often the case that the dog will try its hardest to please the master. I want to be able to teach a dog and know that I, as a human being, haven't caused harm to that dog just for my own jolly, so to speak. You don't need to do that. Now, you can take the mickey out of people who teach their dogs to do tricks and everything, but they're teaching their dogs to do something that the dog wasn't bred for. All you've got to do is harness what the dog was bred for. Far easier. And if you get it wrong the first time, don't think, I got it wrong. It's obviously because I used the soft way, and therefore I'll go to a trainer who uses a more harder version. No, it's your first dog. You didn't know what you was doing. Try again. Tape yourself. Look at the video. See where you're going wrong. See how the dog reacts. Learn from that, but stick to the non-physical methods. And you go to see other people's dogs and that, you'll see that really and truly that is a low standard you're setting yourself if you want to get to the level that Chrisotpher Upton has got to with his dogs. He's never won an open. After 10 years of trialling, and this is before he fell out with them, he never won an open. And looking at his dogs, I can pretty much guess why. they get to a certain standard and that's it, not above. You want to get to a better standard than that, and you want to do it with kindness. And it's easy. It just takes a little bit of time. Find the right people to help you. And if you still want to find a trainer that uses physical correction, do so. Or if Mr. Upton keeps harassing me, then I will have to raise funds, as he did, and go down the civil route. But I will actually want to go through the court process because I do have all the evidence, hence why he never wanted to go to court, hence why he got it stopped before it went to court, hence why he doesn't charge me with any, hence why he doesn't take me to civil court. I have all the evidence, and I've always wanted this stopped. I just wanted to focus on the dogs, on the training methods. But if it carries on, I will go down the civil route. It'll take me time to raise the money, but I will do it. Because I've never been given a restraining order. I've never been given a restorative justice order. I've never been in prison for beating a person. I've never been told by the RSPCA my methods are cruel, physically and mentally. And the courts have never said it is okay to treat an animal in that way.